Yo, so what is good, everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video, and for today's video, we are going to be simulating the NBA career of the number 2 overall pick to the Utah Jazz, Darryn Peterson. Many have been calling him a young Kobe Bryant. I don't know if I'd go that far, but we're going to find out just how good he is today. Heading into year 1 here with the Jazz, check out what the squad is looking like. It looks like for the most part they are running it back, but they've added Scoot Henderson in free agency here. As you can see, he's coming off the bench as the 7th man. And we gave him a 2-year, $29 million contract. So let's see if the former top pick can show something to help us here. And in year 1, Darryn Peterson ends up getting himself Rookie of the Year with this Jazz team, averaging 20 points per game as a rookie, which is super impressive. And not only that, but he makes the All-NBA 3rd team at 19 years old. Let's find out if DP was able to get this Jazz team to the playoffs, but unfortunately in year 1, they were only a 30-win team. But hey, when you have a 20-year-old on your team who averages 26 and 7 on great efficiency as a rookie, you have plenty of things to be happy about, and Ace Bailey even looked improved with him on the team this year. But in year 1 of the sim, it ends up being the Minnesota Timberwolves that win it all, and Anthony Edwards gets himself a ring. Heading into year 2 of the sim, you can see the team is very similar here, but Darryn Peterson has already jumped to an 88 overall. And in year 2, Wemby ends up getting himself another MVP award. No one's really too surprised by that, because he's the king of dominating these sims. But in year 2, let's see how we actually ended up playing out. And we're a play-in team, so 37 wins, 7 more than last year, is definitely an improvement for year 2 for this squad. But let's hope we can knock out the Pels here and try to make a little bit of a run. So we're going to simulate this game, and unfortunately we get bounced in our very first playoff appearance with a strong performance from Darryn Peterson nonetheless. Finals MVP ends up being Shaedon Sharpe, which I would not have thought I would have seen in year 2. As we jump right into year 3, Darryn Peterson now up to a 92 overall, Cody Williams still hanging around, and TJ Wagner's in our rotation. But nonetheless, the team around him did not matter. Darryn Peterson, 29 point per game, MVP season, 29, 9, and 8 in his 3rd year in the NBA. That is literally insane. And he did it on great efficiency, but most importantly, he brought this Utah Jazz team to the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, going up against the Grizzlies and Cam Boozer here in the first round. This is our first real series to show who we are as a playoff player. Are we a riser or are we a faller? And in the first round, we go absolutely nuts there with a 32-point triple-double to win our first playoff series. Will our luck continue as we have to go up against Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs in the second round here? Not an easy matchup for a young player to walk into, but he did lead them to the first seed. Does Darryn Peterson have what it takes? Will he be able to solidify himself as one of the best players to ever come through Utah and a Jazz legend? We're going to find out here. It is a tied series going into Game 7 here of the second round. And while some may say it's only the second round, this is a pivotal point in his young career as it begins all of the narratives as to who he is. You can see this is a super tight game here. 4-point game as we hop in. The Spurs have the ball. And an absolute brick. Darryn Peterson gets the ball, and after some fouling, it looks like we are going to take this game and head on to the Western Conference Finals in only year 3. As you can see in the closeout game, Darryn Peterson dropped 27 and 19 to keep the Jazz alive here and push it to a Western Conference Finals series up against SGA and the Thunder. They have not given the star a Mickey Mouse road to the finals whatsoever. As you can see, he's going to have to defeat the San Antonio Spurs and the OKC Thunder to get himself and this young Jazz team to the NBA Finals. He dropped 38 points in the elimination game. And obviously that makes him the Western Conference Finals MVP, heading into the NBA Championship here up against the Raptors. I don't think this team stands a chance against our Jazz team. I don't even think that they can hold our jockstrap. As you can see, we go up 3-0 and we end up sweeping them in the NBA Finals with Darryn Peterson getting Finals MVP at 29 points per game in only his 3rd NBA season. As we move into year 4 here, this should be an interesting one. And in year 4, our team's looking very similar to Run It Back, except for we added AJ Mitchell as kind of our biggest addition. And in year 4, Jokic ends up getting an MVP, and Darryn Peterson, again, All-NBA first team, Coming off a year where we won the NBA championship, we end up as the number 4 seed out west here, and when looking at the player stats, you can see 25 points per game from Darryn Peterson. In the first round, we're going to match up against the Warriors here, who are now being led by the combo of Tyrese Maxey and Zion Williamson. On paper, I think the reigning champs here are a much better team, but we'll have to see how it goes as we simulate this. We go up early in the series and end up losing 4-2 after being up 2-0, so absolutely tragic, but there's a lot of good things to come in this career here. Heading into year 5, Darryn Peterson is not going to take his foot off the gas. And in year 5, yet another All-NBA first team appearance here for Darryn Peterson. No real surprise. Gets the Jazz to the 4th seed out west, and you can kind of see what the squad's looking like in points here. No surprise, right around 26 points per game for Darryn Peterson. And a first round matchup that brings us back to a familiar foe in Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Hopefully we can have as much luck as we had last time against them, but no luck this time as we get dropped off in 6. And it's no surprise to see the OKC Thunder in the championship, but LaMelo actually dragged the Charlotte Hornets to the NBA championship here. They end up getting swept 4-0, and Chet gets Finals MVP. Moving us into year 6, where Darryn Peterson is now sitting at a 94 overall. Paolo ends up getting MVP, and Dash Daniels gets Rookie of the Year for us. I'm pretty sure that's Dyson Daniels' little brother, if I'm not mistaken. And looking at our team right here, the construction of it, something is glaring out to me. Do you see it? We have Matez Buzelis now at our small forward position, so we definitely have to check out how we ended up getting him. But we're going to match up against the Grizzlies here in the first round with Ja Morant and Cam Boozer, who also got Tyron Stokes. So that is a nasty trio, and I'm not going to be surprised if they are contenders as well. But in the first round, we actually ended up taking them out in only 5 games, so it was not enough to get past us. As a triple-double there from Darryn Peterson in the closeout game, no surprise, this kid is an absolute stud. Moving us into round 2 here, we find ourselves up against Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks. One of the classics that come out of the West every time in this series. Can we get it done? Can we knock out the former Rookie of the Year and number 1 overall pick? We're going to find out here as we hop into Simcast. Keep in mind, we are currently down 3-2 in this series, so this game is do or die for us. And it looks like we are going to do, as we end up winning 114-102 there. You can kind of see the scoring. Honestly, Darryn Peterson got a triple-double, but a little bit of a backseat scoring-wise, but he needs a game or 2 off. So, Game 7, this is where champions are made. This is where the guys' legacies will live forever, and we know Darryn Peterson is a playoff riser, and he needs to solidify that even further here against Cooper Flagg and drop him and the Dallas Mavericks off. As you can see in the 4th quarter here, it is a super tight game. Back and forth, back and forth. Thankfully, our guys are stepping up when it is needed the most here in the 4th quarter, and we have a pretty decent lead. It looks like we are going to be moving on to the Western Conference Finals. Again, we never get the easy road here, but now we're going to match up against Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves, who have won a championship in this sim. We find ourselves down 2-1. We find ourselves down 3-1. Thankfully, we show a sign of life here as we grab a game and bring it back 3-2. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to bring a second NBA championship to Utah? That is the question. 4th quarter here, we are heading in. We have a decent little lead, so as long as we don't fold, it looks like we are probably going to be pushing this to 7. And after a very convincing win there, we are going to Game 7. An absolutely fantastic game to negate a 50-point performance there from Anthony Edwards. Heading into Game 7, we are in Simcast, where it is back and forth early, but it looks like we are starting to pull away a little bit with about a 19-point lead, and we are keeping our foot on the gas here as we end up winning 146-128. Darryn Peterson grabs yet another Western Conference Finals MVP, but we know he is not content with that. He wants the Finals MVP. He wants the ring. As we go up 1-0 on this Sixers team, we go up 2-0. We drop a game, bringing us a little bit back to reality, but we do grab another one. 3-1 here. As you can see, the kind of performances back and forth in this series so far. It has been an electric one. And hopefully we can close it out here, but you really never know. We are leading 3-1 heading into this Simcast. Back and forth action here. The Sixers do not want to be left on the court tonight. They want to extend this series, but it is, oh my, 121 to 119. We are going to be hopping into this. This is electric. As a tired, overworked Joel Embiid still backs down our center and gets a bucket. Shout out to Joel Hands Embiid. He is a GOAT, no doubt about it. All tied up here. Darryn Peterson, ball in his hands. Step back, ice cold in his vein. Double doink off the rim to go in. Now it's all about, can we play good defense here? Joel Embiid goes for a little bit of a contested midi, and it does not go, giving us the ball here. Shot clock, game clock difference, and oh my gosh, Darryn Peterson drills a three, wasting no time. He wanted the ball in his hands, and he knew it was his time to pull it, as it puts us up 5. The Sixers can't hit a shot. As you can imagine, a bunch of fouls, leaving this at a 5-point game, and they are done fouling. They know it is over, and your Utah Jazz get their second NBA championship. Darryn Peterson stepped up when it mattered the most, drilled a three there with no hesitation. He didn't think about letting the clock run out or anything. He just saw his opportunity and absolutely drilled it. In just year 6 here, it is going to be time to start having conversations about really where Darryn Peterson lies in the GOAT conversation very soon. He is tearing up the league, and he is having no easy path there. As you can see, he drops 40 points there to get it done, stepping up and getting another Finals MVP with no easy road to the championship in any of these seasons. Moving us on to year 7 here, you can see what the squad is looking like. We get Matez an NBA championship there, and at the end of year 7, the Utah Jazz finish as the number 3 seed out west with a 58-win season. This team is just absolutely killer, and they've kept together a lot of their core throughout this sim, in all honesty. As you can see, Ace Bailey is still right there beside DP. And in the first round, we unfortunately have to see Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs yet again, and it's not looking like it's going to be as easy for us this time, but we do end up tying this series up 2-2, 3-2, and we just get 4 straight games on Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs to drop them off in the first round. And again, the who's who, we see SGA and the Thunder here in the second round. Let's hope we can have an easy series against them. But who am I kidding? It can never be easy against the Thunder team. We end up taking them to 7, and thankfully we end up winning a close and hard-fought game there. It was neck and neck. Going to the Western Conference Finals, this is the team I was bragging and boasting about their big 3 earlier. They still have Zach Edey, which is definitely a little bit of a problem for us at center, but we'll see what we can do here. This is definitely a solid young squad of guys as we see it back and forth early. They take a lead on us 3-2 here, so of course, you know, we're going to hop into Simcast so we can kind of see this in real time. And it looks like we are kind of blowing them out here because we want to push this to a 7-game series. Oh my, we killed them in that game. Let's check out the score and the box score there. Darryn Peterson, 26, 9, and 11. He's always flirting with the triple-double. And in your Western Conference Finals here, you have a Game 7 against 2 of the best young teams. This would be prime TV to be watching. Everyone would be tuning into it, that is for sure. And it's pretty back and forth early, but we have a little bit of a lead that hopefully we can hang on to here. About 3 minutes left, we find ourselves up 2 points, and we hop in. 2-point game here, 50 seconds. Ill-advised pass leading to a steal, but then Darryn Peterson actually gives it right back to them on the other side. Thankfully, we get lucky enough that Tyron Stokes bricks that midi, and it ends up being a 2-point game here. This possession is going to mean everything as Dash Daniels has the ball, top of the key, kicks it to Darryn Peterson, and he catches a body to make it 131 to 127. The Grizzlies need a big-time shot here, and Ja Morant answers to make it a 1-point game, sending us to the free throw line. Darryn Peterson goes 2 for 2. 3-point game, 11 seconds left here. This is a legacy game for both sides. Ja Morant, ball top of the key. They kick it to Tyron Stokes, who answers the call, tying it up. We need a big-time shot here. No overtime. Utah is about this. This is the moment. Darryn Peterson, tough shot, and he gets a bucket! Chill. Sorry about that, but that was insane. This kid has ice in his veins. Every time in these big moments, he comes up, and he is just looking like he is in control and can honestly do anything on the court. Getting us the dub by 2 there, dropping 42, 7, and 7. And let's not forget he gets steals and blocks every game too, as we find ourselves in a finals rematch here up against the Philadelphia 76ers, tying this series up at 1-1, going down 2-1, grabbing a game. We have a lot of fight in us as we find ourselves down 3-2 here, hopping hopping into Simcast. Hopefully we can get some more crazy moments because it has been insane hopping in and just seeing what Darryn Peterson is actually doing to teams in this game. And about 3 minutes left, it looks like we are going to convincingly take this and push it to a Game 7, which is obviously the most entertaining thing for us all. Let's be honest. Game 7, Darryn Peterson, let's get it, hopping into Simcast. We lose the first quarter, but we expect this to be a dogfight, and Darryn Peterson and the boys are going to fight until the very last minute of this game, and we all know that. We pull away in the third, but we need to stay sturdy here in the fourth as the lead is collapsing, and it got to a one-point game, and we actually did not hop in, but Darryn Peterson ends up getting another finals and another finals MVP in only his first 7 years in the NBA. How insane is that? Look at this kid's accolades, man. Let's see how the end of year 7 ends up going. Your Utah Jazz again end up the #1 seed out west here, and we're going up against the Pelicans here in the first round. Easy work, knocked them out in 5 with Darryn Peterson dropping 30 and flirting with a triple-double. Ain't nothing new about that. Second round here up against Cooper Flag and the Mavericks. This is when it gets a little bit more serious for us each time. The Mavs, the OKC Thunder, the Grizzlies, the Spurs, those are the teams out west that we have a real eye on, but we'll see how this one ends up going. Back and forth early on. We find ourselves down in a hole here, 3-1. We do grab a game here with Darryn Peterson not trying to let us lose, but in 6, we finally get defeated. It feels like we've been unstoppable, Iron Man just going nuts. But the time simply had to come. We are overdue for a playoff loss, and that is okay. Hornets end up winning it all with LaMelo getting finals MVP. I was not expecting that. Year 9 here, Darryn Peterson sitting at a 93 overall. Supporting cast around him is very much the same. They just keep running it back with this squad. And at the end of year 9 here, we end up checking out the stats, and you see Darryn Peterson dropping 26, 8, and 8. So again, he just loves flirting with that triple-double. And our first round matchup is up against Luka and the Clippers. Haven't seen much of Luka in this sim. And we won't see any more of him this year as we just sent him packing to Cancun as our boy Darryn Peterson led the charge. Putting us to the second round here up against Cooper Flag and the Dallas Mavericks yet again, who got the better of us in our last matchup. Let's see what happens in year 9 here. We find ourselves down 3-2 and the same result. In 6, Cooper Flag drops us off. We can't win them all. The NBA championship here ends up being the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the UNC squad up against the Chicago Bulls and Caleb Wilson, with them actually getting it, but Caleb Wilson not getting finals MVP. Throwing us into year 10, you can see what the squad is looking like, and at the end of year 10 here, we end up the #2 seed out west with a first round matchup up against the Warriors here. We're starting to get to the point where it's a lot of creative guys, and honestly, I don't care too much about them unless they kind of have a funny storyline or a funny name. We go up 3-2 on this squad, and then we will see if we take it home. We take it home here in 6 as Darryn Peterson drops 24, 7, and 12 in the elimination game. Second round matchup up against the Kings. Shout out to any Kings fans. You guys have finally seen the playoffs again, and you are honestly putting up a good fight against us as you are up 3-2 in this series. Let's see what they can do here as we hop into Simcast. And honestly, it's a dogfight early on, but we end up pulling out here. We're taking a pretty good lead, and we end up winning by 16 there to force the Game 7. Ace Bailey stepping up and dropping a 30-piece there, deciding he's not going to be Robin today. He's going to step up and be Batman. But in Game 7 here, it does not look great for the Kings as we have a pretty convincing lead here in the third quarter. But they're showing some life here in the late fourth. Are they going to make this a real game? And they did, as it is a 4-point game. But thankfully, Darryn Peterson, ice in his veins, drills a midi. It looks like they brick some shots. Darryn Peterson kicks up top, and it was an absolute dime to Dash Daniels to get the job done there, putting us to the Western Conference Finals. Yet again, this time up against that UNC squad of the T-Wolves with Paolo, Anthony Edwards, and Trae Young all getting up there. And the UNC squad actually defeated us pretty easily, 4-0 there. We just didn't have enough to get it done. We didn't have the UNC wisdom. Finals MVP ends up going to Paolo, moving us into year 11 of Darryn Peterson's career. And at the end of year 11, we ended up, you guessed it, again, the #2 seed and against the Warriors in the first round, who just get smoked by us every time. We just beat them 4-0. Moving into the second round here, up against the MVP's team, this guy Tony Garma. We are kind of in a back and forth with them here, but we're going to hop in. It is a 3-point game here. He is taking us down low. He gets a bucket to make it a 1-point game with 57 seconds on the clock. Darryn Peterson, the Iceman himself, actually ends up bricking that. I swore he was going to hit it, as we find ourselves potentially going to lose this here as they get to the mid-range. We are down by 1. 24 seconds left. This is Darryn Peterson's time to go, and he takes one, the exact same shot, maybe one step further out. And it goes, giving us a 2-point lead here. It is on the Clippers. What can they get going? The MVP kicks it out to Zachary Risache. We left him open for 3, but we live with that. We do not believe in the shot for the kid, and it helps us advance here. Darryn Peterson drops 45, 12, and 6 in the elimination game, and pushes it to a Game 7, hopping into Simcast. These games have been literally some of the funnest I've ever hopped into for these Sims in 2K, because Darryn Peterson is just one of a kind. Back and forth game here early on. We're going to see if it boils down and we have a real chance here or what, as there is about a 3-point game here. We hop into Game 7, down 1 here with about 43 seconds left. Can Darryn Peterson continue to be absolutely unfazed in the moment? We're going to find out. Shot clock is ticking down. That is not the shot you want. We absolutely have our big man brick a midi. They come down the other side. We get another chance at life here. Down 1 with 9 seconds. Darryn Peterson, ball in his hands, looking for a midi. Oh, he is clamped. I don't know what we're going to do here. Keontae. And it is bricked. Sometimes you gotta lose them, guys. We couldn't have ice in our veins this time. Darryn Peterson drops 31 there, but it was not enough to get it done. NBA Championship, Knicks against the Mavericks. We'll see who ends up winning this one. The Cooper Flag and the Mavs get another one. Moving us into year 12 of the sim here, and his career so far is looking insane. And in year 12, we end up as the number 4 seed out west. And if you want to look at those stats, they are there if you want to hit pause. But first round, pretty irrelevant as we end up knocking out the Nuggets in 5. Second round matchup up against the Warriors, who we usually beat up on. They take us to 7, but we get the job done. We don't even hop into Simcast for that. I thought that we had the job under control. Western Conference Finals here. We go up 3-0 on Cooper Flag and the Mavs as they grab 2 straight games, making it a series. But Western Conference Finals MVP goes to Darryn Peterson yet again, and this time we are up against the Charlotte Hornets in the NBA Championship. Are we going to get another ring? Are we going to get dropped off? These are the questions here. Up 3-1. We're going to hop into Simcast here because everybody knows we love when we get to hop into these. And skipping ahead a little bit here, we are up 6 points, about 45 seconds left. Darryn Peterson with a nasty pass down low to Dash Daniels to extend this lead to 8 with 41 seconds. It'll be tough for this team to come back that is up against us, making it a 6-point game again there, but 2s are not going to bring you back in this. As you can see, we end up getting yet another NBA championship for Darryn Peterson and yet another Finals MVP, because let's be real, no one on this team is stealing that from him. He is goated. It's really time to have some conversations about the best of all time, the best to do it. Is it Darryn Peterson? We're going to check out at the end of this career and check out all of his accolades when he gets introduced to the Hall of Fame, which he is a lock for, but I would say this guy has a real case, as he drops a smooth 36-piece McNugget on the city of Charlotte, 27 points per game in the finals there, moving us into year 13. Check out the squad. And in year 13, he is still doing his thing, leading the Jazz to the number 2 seed out west, and again, a irrelevant first round clean sweep 4-0 over this Nuggets team as we continue our push here to even make this legacy crazier and crazier that we are building in Utah. Up against the former MVP here in the second round, we end up bouncing them in 7. Very competitive series, but hey, that means to show we still got it. 34, 10, and 9 there with 2 steals and a block from DP. Moving us to the Western Conference Finals up against the number 1 seed Dallas Mavericks. And in the first game here, we end up taking it. Let's see how this goes. A little back and forth early on. We end up down 2-1 in this series, and we end up down 3-1 here. Cooper Flagg putting the team on his back a little bit, but we'll see if we can fight back from 3-1. We've done some crazy things. We'll see if it happens right here. Down 3-1. Now it's 3-3. It is anybody's game at this point. I don't care if we were staring at 3-1. You put a game where anyone can win in front of Darryn Peterson. This kid's going to rise to the occasion. A game like this is his type of game to win. Third quarter here, back and forth early on, and we're going to see where we end up in the fourth quarter here. 1-point game, 3-point game. It is a close one. We might end up having to hop into this. But it looks like we go down 9 here, so it looks like we are actually going to get dropped off here after a really hard-fought game and coming back from 3-1. The finals here is going to end up being the Mavs versus the Knicks, and the Knicks are actually, funny enough, led by a guy from our draft class in Nate Ament, but Cooper Flagg ends up taking it. Hopping into year 14 here, and let's see what our squad is looking like. Are we a lot the same, or are we different? Bronny James is actually our starting point guard, who has no accolades ever. You can see DP now at a 92 overall, getting himself another All-NBA appearance there, and we're back up against the Sacramento Kings here in the first round, as we are the 3 seed, and we end up knocking them out pretty easy in 5. Another strong game there from Darryn Peterson. Moving us into the second round here up against the Warriors, who we bullied a lot earlier in the sim, but we are starting to age a little bit with this team, and unfortunately, it's aging enough for them to drop us off. Despite 27 from Darryn Peterson, Nate Ament ends up getting a finals MVP here with the New York Knicks. Shout out to him getting 2 NBA championships already, moving us into year 15 of the sim. And then year 15, you can see what the roster's looking like. A lot of guys getting older here, a little bit of fall off, but we could always see a Cinderella run from Darryn Peterson because you can never count him out. This guy with the beard kind of reminded me of James Harden at first, seeing a Thunder guy with a big beard. But in the first round here, we have the OKC Thunder, who we end up dropping off in 5, with Darryn Peterson dropping 38 and 12 to eliminate them. Second round here up against former MVP Tony Garma, point guard for the Los Angeles Clippers. And let's see if we can get past them, but we cannot, getting dropped off in 7. Dash Daniels puts up a pretty good performance there, but it wasn't enough. Moving us into year 16 of the sim, which I think that we can kind of call his retirement tour at this point. He's still a 91 overall and can get something done, but we are on the downward slope here of Darryn Peterson's career, and he actually just spit in my face as he gets an MVP season here, 35, 8, and 9, just to silence the haters, aka me, bringing the Jazz team to the number 4 seed out west. That was crazy, getting another MVP as soon as I start saying that it's his retirement tour. He shut me up really fast. Shout out to Darryn Peterson for carrying this team. Dash Daniels has been a great second-round pick that turned into a stud for us, and our first-round matchup here is going to be up against the Los Angeles Lakers. Haven't seen much of them in this sim either in the post-Bron era, and in the first round, we end up getting bounced. Darryn Peterson drops 35 and 10, but not enough, as the Knicks end up taking another one. Nate Ament, now a 3-time NBA champion and a 2-time finals MVP, so he's killing it in his own sim. Nate Ament sim may be coming out soon, moving us into year 17. And in year 17, we are at a 90 overall for DP, and I'm not going to try to jinx him this time. Thankfully, he does not go ahead and get another MVP season just to spite me saying that he's on his retirement tour. You can kind of see what his career averages are looking like at this point. Like, it's pretty insane. The dude averages 26.5 throughout his entire career, from the time of a rookie all the way up to being 36 years old. Like, that is phenomenal. Look at all these stats. The dude is just an absolute all-around stud. But first round, we match up against an aging Cooper Flagg as well, also sitting at 36 years old, regressed down to a 91 overall, just like us, and you can kind of see what his career has kind of looked like. But we'll have to see if we can take it and have a little magic here late in our career, and we end up in a 3-3 game, and we end up winning 4-3, and we're going to be moving on to the second round here, even late in Darryn Peterson's career here, still dropping 35, 10, and flirting with that triple-double, fellas. Second round, we get bounced by the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings making their way to a Western Conference Finals. Haven't seen that in a long time. And after this year, you could see AJ DeBonsa went ahead and retired. So moving us into year 18, this has to be just about the end for our guy DP. Still starting for Utah. He's been a one-team kind of guy for his entire career, which you have to respect, but he's still getting All-NBA first-team appearances, which is literally nuts. And he still somehow led us to being the #1 seed out west here, which is pretty insane. Going up against the Nuggets here in the first round, you can see what our squad is looking like, and let's see how we perform here as we are going up against this Nuggets team that is mostly just created players at this point, and again, bounced in the first round again. Not looking great, but that is what you get at the end of careers sometimes. The Nuggets end up going on to win it all, and it looks like it's about that time. Darryn Peterson ends up retiring here. He had an insane career, and obviously he made the Hall of Fame. You can check out all of his stats as he is a 4-time Finals MVP and I think like a 15-time All-NBA first-team guy. If you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comment section if you made it this far. It means a lot, and I would love to be able to give you some recognition for watching all the way through. If you haven't already, AJ DeBonce's career sim came out about 2 days ago, so I think you guys would probably enjoy that one as well. Thanks for rocking with me. This was one of the more fun videos I've done in a long time. Peace out.